Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do your April the 1st spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. April the 1st is entitled That Energy of Empathy. That wordless language of recognition, belief, and faith, which we call empathy, created the atmosphere in which we could feel time, touch reality, and recognize spiritual values long lost to many of us. That's taken from the basic text, chapter 8, We Do Recover. For some of us, our first perceptible encounter with a power greater than ourselves comes in the form of other recovering addicts. We find it in that vibe we feel in the rooms of NA. Many of us pick up on it even before we've taken that leap and given abstinence a try. We sense this energy unlike anything we've experienced elsewhere. One addict described it this way: I felt oddly connected to these complete strangers, and they seemed to know me, to understand, and to genuinely want to help. Putting this intriguing something into words is difficult at best and runs the risk of becoming quickly outdated, since the words to describe it change with the times. To our ear, our predecessors' attempts to explain it may sound pretty trippy today. It's hard to capture the essence of this almost indescribable thing in words. Had our French-speaking members written We Do Recover, they may have used the phrase Je n'ose boire. That's a bad attempt at French, which translates literally to I don't know what, but signifies something more in its naming of the unnamable. As the basic text notes, the problem with literature is language. To be sure, the atmosphere of recovery we find in NA is intangible. Maybe it's too cosmic or mystical to pin down in a description that will stand the test of time and translation. Even so, groups and service bodies sometimes find it useful to talk about how we support or create an atmosphere of recovery. Most will identify empathy as a key ingredient. Perhaps empathy stands out as central to our atmosphere because it's a quality that's been missing in our lives when we get to the rooms. Nevertheless, we recognize and respond to the empathy like it's a long lost friend. The world has little empathy for using addicts. They haven't been where we've been. NA is different, and thank goodness it is. I will listen with my heart today and empathize with the struggles and victories of fellow members. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Empathy, the energy of empathy. In regards to the words that we might use to describe it, one thing is certain: we know what it feels like. We, as an individual who is benefiting from someone else's empathy, we have a feeling of being heard, being understood, camaraderie, of having someone to lean on that is there and understands who we are in the sense of being addicts in recovery. But not only that, but that we're going to pass through things and that we're going to struggle. But we're part of that no matter what club. We're not going to use no matter what. And they understand that and they extend their hearts to us. Who is it that is exercising empathy with you? Who is giving you their energy empathetically? I want you to think about that today because there's certain people in my life. I was having a conversation with someone I go to school with, and a group of individuals are struggling with one particular professor, if you will. And I told this student that I go to school with, it's not that I don't have issues with that professor. One, if it's something I can handle, I take it directly to that professor. And two, if it's not something I can handle, right? And I need to go above this professor administratively, I advise them that that's what I'm going to do. After I've finished all of the discussion and I can't get a resolution, and it doesn't have to be a resolution that is only benefiting me. It has to be one that I understand, right? So I will advise the professor that I'm going to get a mediator at this stage because I believe that we're at a fork in the road. And I want to make sure that I proceed in a manner that will show honor to this process. And the other thing that I do is I have a couple of individuals that I trust, blood relatives that I trust, that if I need to vent about any professor, I bounce it off of them. I don't take it to other students because there's no way you can take it to other students and not affect their opinions and the morale of the whole cohort, right? So I know what empathy feels like for me. There's an energy where someone says, I'm standing with you. I'm standing with you. And it's not just sympathy, right? I know how that feels. And I'm hoping that you know who your empathetic allies are and that you reach out to them and just tell them today, you know what, thank you so much. I don't know how I would have made it through that situation without you. And because of your empathy with me, I feel like I came out on the better side. Just take a moment to show some gratitude for them. Now, that's part A of this. Now, part B of that is, who can I be more empathetic with? Who can I show more empathy to? And I want you to consider that. And then I want you to proceed throughout the course of the day, in the next several days, of making your life incorporate that spiritual principle of giving empathy back to whomever, right? It could be the same people that give it to you, or it could be someone else. But I think that it's important that we are also in the giving mode of empathy, not always having to receive. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you, and I hope that you have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to talk to you tomorrow.